Hello, I'm Elizabeth with the Newport Historical Society, and today we have the pleasure of speaking with April Thomas from Fashions Revisited, historic clothing website and company, and she is also the Director of Historic Foodways for Dills Tavern in Pennsylvania. April is going to help us explore the question, what does the past have to teach us that's relevant today in terms of historic foods? April.
Well, I think at different points in our life, different things become, we become aware of different things and how food has changed and how our lifestyle and our modern day lifestyle changes our perspective on food. And for this interesting period that we're going through right now, I think something that has come to mind that I've been thinking about a lot is the idea of frugality, waste not, want not. Um, and it's in particular salt and sugar, how basically in our modern life we might not think much about salt and sugar. We might just think of them as flavoring or sweetening agents, but basically salt and sugar are preserving materials and really have been for hundreds if not thousands of years. So my attitude towards salt and sugar and how that's sort of changed today and it's relevant today is that we might find there are things that we can't get in the grocery store. Maybe we're not able to get our favorite jam. And the idea of, in the past, sugar, for example, was primarily used at the start of its availability for Western civilization. It was really a preserving agent. And so the idea that they didn't have much sugar in their diet, even in the 18th century compared to today. Our palate is so jaded, for lack of a better term. We're really used to very sweet flavors, a lot of sugar, and comparatively, they just didn't know that a couple hundred years ago, especially. So today, I find myself making more preserves because it preserves fresh fruit to make jam out of it, especially if you can't get a hold of any. And even salt, if you take salt and you can preserve pieces of fish quite easily at home. We've been doing some of that. Especially in our household, we make gravlax. So you take salmon and you take equal parts salt and sugar and basically rub it in and wait a couple days and flip it over a couple times in the fridge. Really easy processes of salting meat and fish, but we're so far removed from them in our modern life that I've sort of rediscovered the joys of that. And I think that I look at salt and sugar very differently than I did even 2 months ago. I'm thinking about it in a more I'm more appreciative of it. So it definitely changes when you look back at the way people used to use these items, this most basic of essentially foods. I think when I'm out of this interesting period, for example, I think I'll probably use less sugar. I think I find that my palate is a little more it's not so needing of a lot of sweet things, and I view salt and sugar very differently. I'm just really intrigued in how quickly our attitude to things can change based on whether we can get them and how long we can make food last. So I think it's relevant to think back to how did our ancestors preserve food and why, and what are we doing today, and is it good for us, and do we like it, and how can we change? So those are my thoughts.
Well, thank you very much for sharing that interpretation. And if you are feeling the quarantine boredom, visit newporthistory.org and shopnewporthistory.com.